Peace. 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 Peace.
Love him or hate him, ex-Disney Channel mainstay and current YouTuber/worst neighbor on the planet, Jake Paul, is sorta killing it right now. While he does play stupid, he's actually at least knowledgeable about business and especially about marketing. Like Jake Paul, Babbletop is not too proud to beg for more subscribers, so please subscribe to our channel and tick that notification bell. We'll make sure to get you new funny videos every week. Now let's look at some of the best times Jake trolled someone, including the president himself. By now, everyone has either heard about or just plain heard the song
It's every day, bro.
by Jake Paul and his Team 10 crew. Reaction to the track has been quick and harsh, with multiple parodies and videos made about the song pretty much as soon as it hit the fiber optic waves. Response ranged from negative to negative, with critics saying it was the whitest song of all time and actually physically painful to listen to. However, despite the backlash, Jake had the last laugh. The video for the song has had 100 million views, and it reached the top spot on the Billboard Hot 100 for one day. It created multiple catchphrases like
Who the hell up flipping you? England is my city.
etc., and was popular enough that Paul was asked to perform it at the Teen Choice Awards, where he ended up bringing home 2 surfboards. The most recent entry on this list, Fake Parrot Maverick Death Prank on My Brother, was part of an ongoing prank war between the brothers Logan and Jake Paul. For those of you who aren't aware, or are over the age of 15, Jake actually has an older brother who is more famous and followed than he is. Logan Paul, whom some find less obnoxious, clearly has taught his little brother a ton. The way that they make videos is extremely similar. They do collaborate fairly often. This prank war sort of cooled off after Jake apologized to his brother for putting up a billboard of him in Jake Paul's merch, but started back up again once the brothers realized how many views it got them. A major part of the prank war has involved Logan's pets, a puppy named Kong and a parrot named Maverick, which by the way is also the name of Logan's brand, favorite word, and creed by which he lives and justifies his personality. Logan loves his bird, and it stars in many of his videos, where it responds to him and even sounds like it's talking from time to time. So when he approached Maverick's cage and the bird wasn't moving or responding to its name, a look of fear seized his face for a split second. He really thought that his friend was a goner. However, because the toy they used to replace Maverick was shoddy at best, the prank almost ended before it began. It all worked out in the end though, and Maverick returned to his life as the most pampered bird in the Western Hemisphere.
My shoes. What are you doing?
Jake Paul lives in what is called the Team 10 house, a huge house full of other content creators who together comprise the Team 10 crew. Team 10 is a hodgepodge of Paul's friends from Ohio and other content creators who have signed over their lives and channels to Paul and his parent company. In exchange for the millions of views that living in the house brings, each reportedly gives about 20% of their revenue to Paul and his company for the first 5 years. While that, combined with the fact they all live together, sounds like a recipe for disaster, so far it's mostly been smooth sailing, probably because they're all young and making more money than they ever thought possible. While things have been running smooth from a business perspective, not everything is easy about living in the Team 10 house. As you can probably guess, there was a lot of tomfoolery going on. One time, Paul coated the floor with vegetable oil and then challenged different Team 10ers to a foot race through the house. After betting his best friend $100 and even giving him a head start, he totally wiped out. That one really never gets old. Sadly, he also lost the race, which is probably the most painful part of all. Unlike a lot of things on YouTube, this appeared to be genuine, and that's part of what makes it even funnier.
Double whammy.
Few YouTube pranks actually evoke the memory of the MTV show's Jackass because you couldn't fake Jackass. The setup for this one was pretty cut and dry. Paul is married, but not really, long story, to a girl named Erica who also lives in the house. She is the brunt of more than 1 or 2 trollings.
I'm done. I'm moving out.
As does her friend and wife of Paul's best friend, Tessa Brooks. One great example was when Jake put over 10,000 thumbtacks on the floor outside the bathroom door whilst Tessa was taking a shower. Stranded and thinking about jumping over the pile, Erica luckily came to her rescue. Because that didn't really hit Jake's high standards, they ended up using the tacks in a ton of different ways, including attaching them to the end of Nerf darts and shooting them at one another, and even jumping on a trampoline covered in tacks. You have to give credit where credit is due, and because they actually hurt themselves with this one, here's one credit. Like the thumbtack and oil showed, normal contents of one's pantry or junk drawer are just tools in Jake Paul's prank arsenal. So you knew it was only a matter of time before they went after one of the oldest pranks in the book, The old saran wrap on the toilet prank. What's great about a lot of these pranks is that they're actually genuine, and the saran wrap prank was one of the real ones. When a Team Tenor attempted to use the toilet, of course urine got everywhere, and because as Dumb and Dumber proved, I can't stop once I've started, it stings, he ended up jumping into the shower to finish. After that, Paul got impatient and decided to up the ante. He stretched the wrap between two of the pillars on the first floor of his house in the hopes that someone would run into it face first and bite it. One of the Spanish twins slapped the other in the hopes that he would chase after him. He did, and the resulting action is one of the more genuinely funny things I've seen in a long, long time. Part and arguably the best of the prank wars between brothers Jake and Logan Paul involved something that took YouTube by storm earlier this year: green slime. Once people realized that you could order packets of the ingredients needed to make the stuff, it was only a matter of time before the competitive nature of YouTube took hold. People started filling everything with it, from bathtubs to entire pools. No body of water was safe from the dark, gooey mixture. Jake should have probably known his brother slimed his pool, which is why the pool is empty, which ended up being a huge deal as the Team Tenors filled it with old furniture and started a gigantic fire that made the news. So he couldn't have really been that surprised when his brother stopped over to show him what looked like the origin story for Swamp Thing. Sure, this list is about Jake Paul trolling people, but it really felt like since we're just halfway through this list that we had to give Jake a taste of his own medicine by showing Logan, along with a lot of Team 10, perhaps not surprisingly. Considering the pool is still empty, they probably did irreparable damage to the filtration system, and considering they're renting the Team 10 house, it makes sense why they're currently looking for a new place to live. Jake's reaction seemed genuine. He didn't trust his brother enough to even turn his back to him. His reaction was one of shock. He said,
"We're gonna get evicted, yo!"
That isn't a stretch, considering Logan has recently been thrown out of his own place. If there's one thing that Paul's wife, Erica, is afraid of, it's snakes. And sharks, which was another one of his pranks. That, and ending up like Alyssa Violet. Paul is a master at getting people to watch his entire videos, and he does that by creating interesting titles and thumbnails to match. But he also finds new and inventive ways to get genuine responses from the Team Tenors. By now, they are so used to it that they'll eventually need some sort of therapy. Because he is in a real relationship with Erica, he knows some of her deepest, darkest secrets and fears. So of course, he's going to use that against her at some point because
Views!
Clicks, bro. Her fear of snakes prompted Jake to bring in a reptile expert. Together, they dropped a real, live yellow python on Erica as she relaxed in bed with her headphones on. She was upset to say the least. Outside of his brother, Logan, there is perhaps no one that Paul likes pranking more than his wife, Erica. They've been together pretty much since Paul's ex, Alyssa Violet, was kicked out of the house. Violet has a channel of her own and has gone on record about the terrible situation she endured while living at the Team 10 house and dating Paul. Alyssa states that while they were together and sleeping in the same bed every night, Paul wouldn't make it official and would even ask her to leave the house sometimes so he could hook up with other girls that he flew out from his home state of Ohio. So, considering the fact that Jake spends a ton of time on YouTube, you know he and Erica watched the video Violet released detailing her ordeal, especially since he's responded to it. So when Paul decided to prank Erica by hiding cameras and lying in bed with another male Team Tenor wearing a wig, you know her response was genuine because she sort of half expected such shenanigans. Logan Paul, who has more subscribers and a more refined sense of humor than his brother, worked with Jake back when the two were making Vines. When the app shut down, they both ended up moving to YouTube. They also moved from Ohio to Los Angeles. Their growth has been intertwined with one another, so you knew it was only a matter of time before they got into a fight. The only thing YouTube users love more than cats is intra-YouTube drama. There are entire channels dedicated to the drama that comes from making tens of thousands of dollars making videos. And if anyone has mastered that idea, it's the Paul brothers. It all started when Jake posted a pretty gnarly picture of his older brother on the busiest street in LA. The Billboard bragged that Jake had more subscribers, with Logan wearing his merch. For some reason, that enraged Logan, and an epic prank war was launched. It ended with both putting out diss tracks on one another. One video had Jake's ex-girlfriend, Alyssa Violet, kissing Logan. Later, the brothers squashed their beef. It only added about 300 million clicks to their videos in the process. Talk about sacrifice. If Jake Paul has any talent, it's being able to take what is popular on YouTube, recreate it, and somehow make it his own in the process. A perfect example is when he pretends to sell the home of a famous person. Typically, Jake Paul doesn't put a whole lot of forethought, care, or concern into his pranks, but he did start this video by disclaiming that he was a bit worried. He admitted being on a Secret Service watch list for the 24-hour challenge he attempted while Barack Obama was still in office. So, by messing with the private residence of the current president, he could have attracted even more scrutiny from the Secret Service. In the video, Paul and company went to Home Depot to buy a small "for sale" sign. Then they wrote Donald Trump on the sign and had one of the Spanish twins from Team 10 planted near Trump's driveway.
Donald, I love you! China.
Did we miss anything? Tell us about your favorite Jake Paul moment in the comments section. Click that subscribe button. Babbletop's got more videos coming for ya.